On the news tonight, Governor Akeredolu lauds Ondo State children for promoting state's image through their skills. UNICEF tasked President-elect Bola Tinubu with out-of-school children. Cooperative Multipurpose Society urges Ondo government to offset January 27 outstanding salary. And from the foreign scene, Ukraine's drone attack damages Russian oil pipeline.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Timile Falade. We begin with Children's Day celebration stories. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says his administration is committed to programs and policies that will secure the lives and future of children in the state. Akeredolu, in his 2023 Children's Day message, stressed that deliberate investments in education, health, and infrastructure will have fruitful effects on future generations. The governor, who said his administration is committed to massive investment in the children's future, noted that his government had recorded huge investment in education, health, and infrastructure. According to the governor, his administration is responsible for the reconstruction and renovation of over 800 public primary schools, as well as the employment of qualified teachers through the State Universal Basic Education Board to bridge the long-time shortage of teachers in schools. While describing children as precious gifts from God and future leaders, the governor assured that his administration will continue to give special attention to issues concerning children. Meanwhile, parents, guidance, and other stakeholders have been tasked to always prioritize the education of every child. Wife of Ondo State Governor Betty Anyanwu made the charge while commemorating the 2023 Children's Day to celebrate children and raise awareness on issues that affect them. Mrs. Anyanwu said prioritizing children's education is important as it forms the basis of defense for them in knowing and standing for their rights in society. Harping on the importance of quality education as a potent tool for children to take on the future with confidence, she said educating children is the best way to prepare them for leadership and help them to cope with life's challenges. The Ondo State First Lady appreciated teachers and educators for the vital role they continue to play in the lives of Nigerian children, especially in Ondo State. Now, no fewer than 39 schools and 13 local government areas across the 3 senatorial districts of Ondo State were represented at this year's Children's Day celebration organized by the state government. The event, which featured various activities like cultural display, march past, speeches, and exhibition of inventions, was graced by the representative of Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Omoriola Ngbeji has details.
Every year, children, especially here in Ondo State, look forward to May 27, a day set aside to celebrate them and make them feel loved. Ondo State government usually celebrates these children with various activities that's dear to them. Here behind me is the march past going on for these activities. The enthusiasm on the faces of the children, regardless of their social status, was an attestation that they have been longing for the special day. Addressing the gathering, Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development Bamidele Ologunloluwa, lauded the children for promoting the image of the state through their skills, while confirming the efforts of his government in tackling security challenges confronting children in society through the support of security agencies in the state. Governor Akeredolu confirmed that his administration has enforced the Child's Rights Law and promotion of child's health rights among numerous interventions.
The theme of this year 2023 Children's Day is coined around good parenting. This is captured in the theme State of Nigerian Children Today, Proper Parenting for Value Orientation and National Consciousness. The theme for this year's celebration is very apt, considering the level of decadence and immoral activities that now pervade our schools. As parents, responsibility behoves on us to inculcate the right values in our children.
Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Adebumi Oshadaun, who tasked parents to play their part by raising godly and well-behaved children, maintained that they are the hope of any nation.
Children are like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an indelible impression. You have to love your children unselfishly, to love you in return and love their nations.
Celebrants of the day, including Speaker, Children Assembly in Ondo State, Elizabeth Ogumodede from CAC Grammar School, spoke passionately about the theme of the event, State of the Nigerian Children Today, Proper Parenting for Value Orientation and National Consciousness.
I will tell you that the modern day civilization in the areas of innovation and information technology has stolen the attention of the Nigerian children from having direct time to spend with their parents and to learning from the internet through the use of social media.
Poverty, child marriage, child trafficking, child abuse, rape, poor hygiene, to mention but a few, you will all observe that a whole lot of problems are being faced by children in Ondo State and Nigeria at large. According to the United Nations International Children Emergency Fund, 50% of the children in Nigeria are living in poverty. This means that 30 million children of Nigeria are lacking basic necessities of life such as clean water, food, and healthcare services.
Among other activities at the event were cultural display, exhibition and choreography, while gifts were handed out for outstanding performances. Osrc News.
Still on Children's Day celebration, as Ondo State joins the rest of the nation to commemorate the 2023 Children's Day, a non-governmental organization, Liberty and Rights Advocacy Organization, in collaboration with the Restoration of the Dignity of Womanhood, ROTDO, has organized a sensitization for out-of-school children in the state. The sensitization program, which held in Akure, state capital, is tagged Strengthen Supportive Systems for the Growth of the Nigerian Child. Joy Pius now completes the story.
According to the World Bank, Nigeria in 2022 had more than 11 million out-of-school children between the ages of 6 and 15. This figure represents 1 in 12 of all out-of-school children globally and 22% of children in the age group in Nigeria. Poverty and high cost of education were among the factors said to be responsible for the numbers, as many of these children from ages 6 and above who ought to be in schools could be seen on the streets hawking, convincing people to buy what they sell, and a vast number begging for alms. At an event organized to mark this year's Children's Day celebration, and as part of efforts at reducing the disturbing trend, a non-governmental organization, Liberty and Rights Advocacy Organization, in collaboration with Restoration of the Dignity of Womanhood, has come up with a sensitization campaign known as Curbing the Menace of Out-of-School Children in Ondo State.
We want to tell you that education is free.
The Chairman Board of Trustees, Mr. Victor Olatoyegun, expressed concerns over the increasing rates of out-of-school children, which he said is leading to increased crime rates across the country.
It is discovered that the incidence of out-of-school children is growing, and we are feeling that there is a correlation between crime and poverty. A lot of people say because of poverty, that is why their children are not going to school. But we have discovered that the price to pay for crime is higher than the money to spend on the education of our children. Because when these children grow up to adults, untrained children will become a menace to the society. That is why we are sensitizing the public on the dangers inherent in children out of school.
Representative of the restoration of the dignity of womanhood also encouraged parents to make good use of the opportunity of the free basic primary education in the state.
Organization we provided exercise books and textbooks for 340 children. Free to those states. So let your children go to school.
It is believed that efforts like these will go a long way in returning these children to the classroom. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
You're still watching Osrc News at 7. We'll take a break now. When we return, UNICEF tasked incoming president to return 10.2 children to school. Do stay with us.
A peak protein breakfast gets me to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Reach your peak.
Hey, this kid, how would I do someone? We go wash plate tire. Farabade now.
Madam, hello, brother. Na 3,005.
Ma fún yín ní owó pé káàdì Glo ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀rún 10,000.
Oh yeah.
Bring your phone.
Ha! 10,000.
1,000 naira credit. Now you are to 10,000.
No. All of us don't know about Glo Berekete. Ní ìlọ́po mẹ́wàá nísìnyí.
Ṣé o ti gbọ́? Ìlọ́po mẹ́wàá ló máa gbà lórí iyekíye tó o bá rà sórí ohun ìpè Glo Berekete 10 times rẹ̀.
I told you. Now what go tell?
Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has called on the incoming administration to work towards returning about 10.2 million children to school. UNICEF Chief of Child Protection Ibrahim Sese made a call at the Children's Day celebration in Abuja. While commending government's efforts in tackling the problem, the UNICEF chief said more needed to be done. Sese, who noted that UNICEF was happy about the celebration of Children's Day, added that besides the challenge of education, it is important for the government of Bola Tinubu to intensify efforts for free quality education and child rights protection, among others. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and all his outgoing appointees, as well as other elected officials in his administration, to fill and return their asset declaration forms as required by law. The president said the directive was a strict adherence to the constitutional requirement of assets declaration before and after taking office, aimed at strengthening best practices, raising moral standards in public service, helping to build integrity and combating corruption. Speaking upon collecting his form from the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Isa Mohammed in Abuja, Buhari insisted that no one is excluded from the constitutional duty of assets declaration. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari will make a farewell broadcast as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces tomorrow, May the 28th by 7 a.m. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Femi Adesina, enjoins television, radio stations and other electronic media outlets to hook up for the broadcast. The Bauchi State Police Command says it has fortified the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium, venue of the May 29 inauguration of Governor Bala Mohammed for a second term, assuring that no stone will be left unturned in providing adequate security for a smooth process. The command also vowed that it is fully prepared to deal with aggrieved individuals or groups who may want to cause any form of crisis or chaos before, during and after the swearing in any part of the state. According to the command's public relations officer, Ahmed Wakil, specific security arrangements have been formulated towards giving citizens and visitors a conducive atmosphere for a heat-free exercise. He added that adequate personnel have been deployed to strategic locations, including the government house, government VIP lodges, critical government infrastructures, among others across the state. Meanwhile, Kano State Governor-elect Abba Yusuf has invited the 14th Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammad Sanusi II, to his swearing-in on Monday. The invitation comes amid speculation that the incoming administration may reinstate the deposed monarch by removing the current Emir, Aminu Ado Bayero. An invitation letter personally signed by Yusuf to the former CBN chief states that the event would be held at Sani Abacha Stadium at 9 o'clock in the morning. The Ebonyi State Election Tribunal has officially kicked off its proceedings in Abuja with the petition of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its governorship candidate in the March governorship election, Ifeanyi Odi, challenging the election of the governor-elect Francis Nwefuru. The tribunal, which began its sitting in Abakaliki, the Ebonyi State capital, was relocated to Abuja on security grounds. PDP is challenging the victory of APC in the governorship election in one of the three petitions are pending before the tribunal. The chairman of the three-man tribunal, Justice Lekan Ogumoye, asks for the cooperation of all parties to facilitate speedy delivery of justice. Hearing resumes next Friday. A group of eminent Ikari Agoko indigenes has presented a position paper to Ondo State government on how to resolve the lingering crisis in the community. Presenting the paper, Professor Bello Oyewole said the motive was to assist government to look for a homegrown solution to the crisis. Our correspondent Kunle Ariyo reports.
The state government noted that the incessant crisis rocking Okoja quarters and Oloko intersection in Ikare is inimical to the peace and well-being of the people. Towards finding a lasting solution to the crisis, the Ondo State government set up a 5-man committee to look into the remote causes of the crisis and provide lasting solution to them. The committee asked stakeholders to forward memoranda to it on perceived causes of the crisis, particularly as it affected Okoja quarters and Oloko intersection. In assisting the committee, a group of eminent Ikari indigents have come up with what it calls homegrown solution to the crisis in the ancient town. Presenting the position paper, Professor Bello Oyewole said the group consulted widely before arriving at the solutions proffered. He noted that there is now a relative peace in the town, saying the group would continue to work with government to ensure that peace is endured.
Many of our people are misunderstanding the policy. When a jurisdiction is given to an Oba, it does not mean that the whole career is being split geographically, economically, functionally into two parts. We still remain one indivisible entity called the Career Cocoa. And that is what we are trying to do, to let our people know that we are related, we have relatives all over the places. Like myself, my mother is from one part, my father is from another part. And how do you say we are different towns? So we are letting our people know that it is high time we started thinking that we should look for homegrown solution to our problems. And that's why we are telling government, we are partners in progress. We are not doing anything parallel to what government is doing. No. We've reached out to our people and they are supporting us. Like you can attest to the relative peace now.
Receiving the document on behalf of the committee, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Oladile Adesomi, appreciated the supportive efforts of the group, stressing that concrete efforts are being made to bring permanent peace to the Ikare community. He said the committee received 50 memoranda from the stakeholders and were invited to address members of the committee.
To assure you, sir, that I will well represent your visit before them, and I will submit this communique to them. I want to pledge on their behalf that if need be, that members of the group should interpret the committee. We will not hesitate to invite you to come and interpret the committee. So on that note, sir, I want to thank you for coming.
With these steps, it is hoped that peace will be permanent in the Kariakoko area of Ondo State. Kunle Ariyo, Osrc News.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has been urged to approve payment of the January 2017 outstanding salary of the Ondo State Workforce. Chairman, OSTC Cooperative Multipurpose Society, Ogundele Yekini, who made a call at the annual general meeting of the group held at Osrc Media Group headquarters in Akure, maintained that the outstanding payment consists of more than 70% of corporators' gross salaries. Omori Olahungbeji reported society surplus for the year 2022 amounts to 3,221,182 naira 47 kobo.
Once in 2 years, members of OSTV CMS Limited gather to render accounts and deliberate on matters relating to the activities of the society. The Treasurers and Auditors reports for year 2022 were presented and adopted by members of the society. The society, with a total number of 160 members, has 1,711 naira as share capital, 41,133,382 naira as ordinary savings, while outstanding loans stands at 39,852,439 naira. The net surplus for the year 2022, as recorded in the Treasurer's reports, stands at 3,221,182 naira 47 kobo. In his address, Chairman of the Society, Yekini Ogundele, thanked Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu for the prompt release of monthly deductions, which according to him had assisted the group in carrying out its responsibilities without any hitch.
I want to plead with His Excellency, our dear Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu SAN, Mr. Tokantu, to please help the cooperative society in Ondo State for the payment of outstanding balance of January 2017, where the cooperators had more than 70% of their gross salaries. The workers and the entire communities are ever be grateful if this request is granted and the name of our dear governor shall be written in gold in history of Ondo State and Nigeria. Once again, you are highly appreciated, sir.
Management of OSRC, represented by Director of Finance and Administration, Oluwole Oluwafemi, encouraged members to jack up their savings to expand the society.
Mr. Chairman, the Chief Executive of this organization, I wish this cooperative society a successful AGM. As you know, the management will always employ you to give more to your cooperative society in terms of savings so that you can fall back on it in due course.
Representatives of cooperative societies in Ondo State who spoke at the program hailed the programs thus far and encouraged members to always pay back their loans for the growth of the society.
We want this society to be moving forward more and more and getting more dividends. We have to improve on what we put into the society, especially those of us that are on loan. Let us repay our money as at when due.
They promised to henceforth embark on training programs for members through his education fund. The society is led by a 9-man executive council who assumed office at the previous annual general meeting. Omoriola Mugiji, OSRC News.
Calls for raid have increased for thousands of people displaced by violence that erupted 2 weeks ago in Plateau State, claiming at least 170 lives. Police gave a lower death toll of 87 and said the situation was calm in response to reports that tensions remained high after the initial attack on May 15. The National Emergency Management Agency said more than 3,600 people have been displaced, while over 720 houses were partially or completely destroyed and at least 216 people injured. It remains unclear what triggered the attack in Plateau's Mango district, but tit-for-tat killings between herders and farmers often spiral into village raids by heavily armed gangs. And now to the foreign scene. When war engulfed Sudan's capital last month, it quickly spread to the western Darfur region, reigniting an old conflict and sending a wave of refugees over the border into Chad. Residents link the resurgence of violence in El Geneina and other parts of Darfur to the power struggle between Sudan's army and paramilitary rapid support forces RSF in Khartoum, which has allowed militias in the area to go unchecked. Akintunde Akishemola has the detail.
Destruction and damage. This is how this man in Sudan's West Darfur state describes the streets of its main city, El Geneina. When war engulfed Sudan's capital last month, it quickly spread here, reviving memories of the atrocious violence from the early 2000s. Sudan's health ministry says more than 500 people have been killed in the city of about 500,000. At least 90,000 refugees have fled across the border into Chad. Witnesses say the city's market, power grid and medical facilities have all been razed. Inan Al-Noor, a human rights activist in El Geneina, described the situation. She says her brother and other relatives were killed in the violence.
Attacks against civilians were intense. Women were subject to many violations.
In place, it's dangerous for aid workers to deploy, according to Mathilde Vu, the Norwegian Refugee Council.
It's very difficult for us to document anything or even to have an accurate look on the situation in Darfur. Why? Because we haven't been able to work. What goes on in the darkness of this whole silence is terrifying.
Residents link the resurgence of violence in Darfur to the power struggle unfolding in Khartoum between Sudan's army and paramilitary rapid support forces, RSF. They say it's allowed Janjaweed militias to go unchecked. The first gained power when the government used them against rebels in the region 2 decades ago. More than 300,000 people were killed. The RSF emerged from the Janjaweed and grew into a large paramilitary force with legal status. It denies instigating violence in the fore and blames the army. An army spokesman did not respond to a request for comment, and representative for the Janjaweed militias could not also be reached. Akintunde Akinshimola for Osrc News.
Ukrainian drones have attacked and damaged oil pipeline infrastructure hundreds of kilometers inside Russia. One of the pipelines reportedly attacked was a Soviet-built Drozhba pipeline in the Tver province, 500 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Before we go tonight, let's remind you that President Muhammadu Buhari will make a farewell broadcast as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces tomorrow, May the 28th by 7 in the morning. As Ondo State joined the rest of the nation to mark this year's Children's Day, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has lauded children from the state for promoting the state's image through their inherent skills. We told you that United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has tagged the incoming government of Bola Tinubu over thousands of out-of-school children in the country. We informed you about the chairman, OSTC Cooperative Multipurpose Society, Ogundele Yekini, has called on Governor Akeredolu to approve payment of the January 2017 outstanding salary of Ondo State workers. That's the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.